Happy 420, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. We're going to be talking about Andy on base making new all-time highs, or at least getting close to making new all-time highs. A few other base meme tokens that have been performing pretty well, and the ones that are on my mind. And as well, we're going to be talking about $85,000 Bitcoin incoming. You heard that right. $85,000 Bitcoin incoming. So this is a live stream you definitely do not want to go ahead and miss out. Welcome everybody to the channel. Let me go ahead and start posting a live stream with my community. So let me go ahead and double check that we are officially live. I hope all of you are having a wonderful day today or a wonderful night. So it looks like we are officially live. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start sharing this. Awesome. So I shared that with the community. So let's go ahead and look into this. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and pull out the live stream on my phone. It looks like we are good to go. So let's go ahead and start off with Andy on base. So Andy on base actually made a video and I posted it. I think it was either yesterday or today. I can't remember when I posted this video. Oh, 9 hours ago. So I guess today. And I actually made this video back in around Wednesday or Thursday. I made this video and I was having issues with the video. I don't know why I wasn't able to upload it. The goal was for me to upload the video Friday morning or Thursday morning, and I ended up not being able to. So I think it was when, I can't remember honestly, but it was probably around Wednesday or Thursday when you watch that video. And I was supposed to post it then, and I didn't because I was having issues. The file was getting corrupted for whatever reason. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and try it tomorrow again, right? So I went ahead and I tried it yesterday, and that's why I was able to upload this video today. But anyways, the video was originally supposed to be uploaded yesterday, not today. But in that video, if you haven't watched it, I did talk about Andy making these new all-time highs and actually doing a reversal at the levels that we're currently looking at right now. I was talking about it right here. So I was talking about on the 17th of April. So far right now we are on the 20th, at least in the time zone, and depending on the time we're watching this. But Andy is getting closer to making new all-time highs. Our all-time high was about 28 million market cap. I do believe we will be breaking that very soon, I hope. And you know, my thesis behind Andy at the time was that I've noticed that Andy on ETH, every time it would do the opposite would happen with Andy on base, right? So we're going to go ahead and look at that thesis and see if it actually is true. But let me go ahead and go back to Andy right now. Give me 1 second. I don't know why I'm having some loading issues. Okay, there you go. So I did mention that there was a huge concern too as well. I don't know why I can't move the freaking chart. Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. Awesome. Okay, so I did mention a few concerns to the chart. I did mention there's a possibility of this being some sort of head and shoulders pattern. And if this does play out, which looks like it probably could happen, it looks like we still are struggling to break past this resistance right here around the 0.2192, which is around the 19 to 20 million market cap. If we do go ahead and get rejected, there's two things that could go ahead and happen, right? We could go ahead and come back down slightly, look for its support around 0.0134, and then break out with stronger momentum and more volatility. Obviously, a lot of people that bought in right here at the bottom are now taking profits for a nice little swing trade. So that's going to be another entry for a lot of traders, right? So that's bullish scenario number one. I hope this is the case, right? If we do go ahead and see a reversal, hopefully we can go ahead and find a nice little floor around this area right here and then continue to the upside. I do believe our next price target is going to be around 60 to 80 million plus market cap. We do have over 12,000 holders, so we have grown a lot. 759,000 24-hour volume, so it's looking really, really good. And we also have to keep in mind that our supply is actually lower than Brett's. If I'm not mistaken, Andy's supply is at 1 billion, and Brett's supply is a lot higher than that. We'll go ahead and look into the charts right now on that. But with that being said, let me go ahead and crack. Oh, I already cracked it open. Cheers. Just sparkling water. That's one of the case scenarios, right? If we do go ahead and retrace. Now, the other second case scenario is if we just go ahead and just break through that with no problem. Like, as people are seeing this thing run up, they're going to be like, you know what? We don't care. We have to buy here. We're going to push this thing a lot higher. So if we do go ahead and get that momentum, which could be a possibility, we could go ahead and see a breakout happening in the next coming hours. So that's two bullish case scenarios right there, right? The bearish case scenario for Andy, and because I'm a TA person, man, I'm not here to go ahead and hype things up. I do believe long-term Andy's going to be a 100 million plus market cap token. I think even we could even approach a billion once we start getting this altcoin meme coin season going. But what we are looking at too as well is that this does look like a head and shoulders pattern, and I'm hoping this does not happen, right? Because head and shoulders patterns are usually super bullish. I apologize. I have like pretty bad allergies, man. So I hope this is not a head and shoulders pattern, because if it is a head and shoulders pattern, it's actually going to be very bearish for us, and that is something we definitely do not want to go ahead and see, right? So if this is a head and shoulders pattern and we do go ahead and break back down, we're probably going to be looking for a zone around consolidation within a range right here, right? Within this whole entire range right here, we'll probably be consolidating. So meaning if we do go ahead and lose this area of support right here, which I hope it's not. If we do, though, do keep in mind that there's a possibility we could lose the support right here and then just consolidate within this range a lot longer than we anticipate for. Obviously, it'll be bearish for the people that I guess bought the top right here or are trying to do a little swing trade on this. But if you're looking to go ahead and hold on to this long term, like me, like myself, I'm holding on to this for the next 3 to 6 months. So if anything, if something like this was to happen and this is a head and shoulders pattern, that just means it's going to take us longer to get to our price target, but it will give us an opportunity to go ahead and load up, right? So typically with head and shoulders patterns, we see something like this happen where we just consolidate within this range, and then eventually as we consolidate, we're going to slowly start breaking back up, and then we're going to pump out of nowhere, right? So I guess depending on your perspective of the market, this could be bullish or bearish for yourself as well. Like I said, I definitely do not want that to happen because I do believe that we should have enough momentum, in my opinion, to go ahead and push this even stronger. And if we do go ahead and push this stronger, our new area of support should be around this range right here. So our new floor is going to be around 20 to 15 million market cap, right? So I hope that's the case. As I mentioned, regardless of the fact, I've been in Andy since pretty early on. I've been over here since I've been in Andy since back at these levels right here. I actually bought the top on that, literally on that top on that reversal before it happened, and then I ended up loading up all throughout this range right here. And same thing goes with when Andy did take off from these levels. I ended up loading up right here again, and then I ended up loading up on this bottom at like around 7 mil. So I loaded up between, originally around 10 million market cap. Then I loaded up heavily around 3 million, and then I went ahead and I loaded up again around 18 million market cap, and then I loaded up again at 7 million market cap, right? So I did go ahead and take advantage of those, and that's just because I'm very bullish on the narrative. So as I mentioned, depending on the kind of mindset you have behind this token, it doesn't really matter where you buy, right? I would just suggest dollar cost average. Obviously, this is not financial advice. It's solely my opinion. But Andy is looking very bullish. We did talk about Andy on ETH being a counteract. I'm not sure if that's the word. I had the word in my head, but I can't remember the term I actually used. But looking at Andy on ETH, and I made it on that video, I mentioned that I realized that Andy on ETH, every time it dumped, Andy on base pumped, and every time Andy on base pumped, Andy on ETH dumped, right? So is there a coincidence to that? I don't think so. So there could be like some sort of correlation behind there with the two different tokens, and maybe people are just swing trading them, right? Maybe as people are taking their profits on Andy on ETH, as they're taking profits at the top, they're swing trading and moving that money back to Andy on base, right? That's what I believe is happening. Obviously, there's no confirmation to that. I haven't looked deeply into the wells to see if there's any like Andy wells on ETH connected to the ones on Andy on base. but I'm assuming based on like what it's very common in DeFi, right? And DeFi is super common for a lot of traders to go ahead and go back and forth on a pair and swing trade, right? Especially the traders in DeFi. They like swing trading these momentum plays when it comes to volume, and they're seeing like a really nice trade setup. They'll go ahead and trade both. You know what I mean? They don't care which one's which. I know right now in the community, Andy on ETH and Base and Blast and Solana, everybody's like trying to like compete with whichever one's the best one. But in reality, the traders, the true chads, the ones that are making a lot of money in the space, they don't care which one it is, man. If they have to trade all three, trust me, they'll trade all three assets. And then the problem is that us in retail, we go ahead and sit here and talk about which one's better while, the bigger players, the bigger whales are making money on all three, right? And that's as it should be. So looking at Andy on base, we did see this reversal right here on the 19th and the 20th. It looks like right now we are going to get ready for another next leg up. So it looked like what we were talking about temporarily did kind of work, because as we see right here in the 18th, the 19th, and today is the 20th. But if we look at these last couple days right here, we do see that as Andy on ETH finally stabilized, I guess if you want to call it, Andy on base began to go ahead and do its reversal, right? So maybe we could go ahead and predict the tops and bottoms with those tokens. As I mentioned, I don't know. You really don't know until you really analyze it with data. And that's the thing with technical analysis, right? Even though, let's say that that data was correct, it could change over time. So we never want to stick to one belief. But it does look like there's a possibility we could be reaching a top on Andy on ETH right now. I hope that's not the case. I hope we do have enough bullish momentum to go ahead and top this out. But looking at the smaller time frames, we do see several bullish indicators, right? One of them being that we did find the bottom right here, and we did hold that bottom pretty well with that previous resistance that we have, right? So that's a pretty good sign. Another thing too right here is that this looks like an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and this is actually a pretty bullish indicator in my opinion, which signals a reversal, which this is exactly what we saw, right? So typically once we get followed with a bottom like this with a reversal, typically what I've noticed is that what the market does after it has this big run up to the upside where it literally just almost skyrockets, what ends up happening is that an area of resistance is found, right? Which is where we're at right now. We're struggling to go ahead and break this area. Typically what happens within this range is that we see a cup and handle pattern. Hey, how's it going, Jalen? Let me go ahead and read your comment. I can't really see it. Let me pull up my phone. Jalen, how's it going? Hey John, how's it going? What do you think of Buddha on base? I got in early as well in this place. Nice. I'll definitely go ahead and check it out. I was looking at Yoda on base. I never actually jumped into it. So I definitely should have that one on my price target. So let me go ahead and as soon as I'm done with Andy on base TA right here, we'll go ahead and talk about Buddha and another one that I actually just entered, Woof. Which I believe is pretty bullish. I hope you're having a good day, and happy 420 if you celebrate it. I don't celebrate 420, but I guess a lot of people do, right? So no way to judge, right? But happy 420 for those that do celebrate it. But back to what I was talking about. Typically what we see right here, when we see a massive movement like this, we see a cup and handle pattern format, right? And once we start to see this is usually a good entry for the traders that missed out and didn't jump in during this bottom, right? This is your second opportunity when we see some sort of consolidation with a cup and handle pattern before the next breakout, right? So that is usually healthy behavior. I do like what we're seeing, and we're not straight just flying to the moon. It doesn't mean that we can't just straight fly to the moon, but I would rather have us hit these levels slowly but surely, but just know that when we do go ahead and break through, we're going to break through and skyrocket like crazy. And as well, that would mean that we would find areas of support that are pretty well respected. And that's what I would rather see instead of just seeing like a massive moonshot where you see the token hitting like 100x in one day, and then the next day hits another 300x. And now the project has gone all the way up to like literally 1000x plus. And once the first reversal happens, typically a lot of these tokens crash like crazy, right? So we, as much as, we want to go ahead and see this, just break to 1,000, 20,000%, Ideally, we always want to see this initial run up as a community's building, growing, and you initially see that take off slowly, right? This usually indicates that there isn't a lot of manipulation in the token. Not saying that, maybe there is no manipulation in Andy. I don't know. I haven't looked into the smart contracts of holders, but typically once you see movements like this, like healthy corrections and healthy pullbacks and healthy run-ups, that's a pretty solid thing, and it tells you that it's not a straight pump and dump, right? And you can kind of identify the straight pump and dumps, or the ones where just big whales pump it and they just dump it, right? And that kind of kills the momentum of the project if the project doesn't have a solid foundation. So Andy on base, I'm very bullish. I do believe in the next coming weeks this thing should be breaking past over. I think we should be seeing 60 80 million market cap in the next coming weeks with no problem. That's solely my opinion. So let's go ahead and take a look at Yoda. I know that was one that I wanted to go ahead and look at, and I never did. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Yoda on base. What is a token called? Is it base Yoda? I don't see it. Maybe it's probably on deck screener. Let's see deck screener. Buddha. Okay, that's what it is. Boda. That's what it was. Boda. BODA. Okay, yeah, BODA. Awesome. Based Yoda. Awesome. So this is looking pretty good. It looks like it had a breakout today alongside with all the other base meme tokens. As you see right here on the right side on my screen, you do see all these tokens that I pretty much have highlighted. Yeah, it looks like all of them are base. All these tokens right here that you see highlighted are all base tokens. So base tokens today and yesterday had a very nice reversal, right? So one thing that I've noticed is that when one of these tokens on base typically has a nice little run up, all the tokens have a run up together, right? So that's one thing that I've noticed with base, and I think it's pretty cool because you can kind of almost keep track of all tokens at the same time, right? One position that I was looking at is GME, which is up 80%, which I'm going to be looking to enter. This was my signal to enter, so if anybody wants to check that out, maybe consider it. But let's go back to Buddha. Looking at Buddha, we do see that we are at this 6.77 million market cap. We were at this range right here consolidating for a while. We have now officially confirmed that breakout. Typically what we see within this range right here, we are seeing a lot of momentum and a lot of volume picking up. As you see, a lot of buying is coming in through the roof. I could expect this thing probably surpassing over a little bit over 12 million market cap plus. It looks like all-time high just went ahead and broke out today. So that's a very bullish sign on this. Obviously, I would be very considerate about, jumping into tokens with this kind of percentage, anywhere between 60 to 40. Same thing with Andy. Typically, the thing is with a lot of these tokens, as they're running up, sometimes they just continue to run up, right? So my best advice, not financial advice, is to go ahead and just dollar cost average, right? If you really do not want to miss out on an opportunity on Yoda and you think it's going to continue to run up, go ahead and throw in a couple bucks, throw in a couple $100, and then just go ahead and see where your position goes, right? If it starts to go ahead and dump, just start to go ahead and DCA all the way down, right? Until it finds its bottom. As it finds its bottom, then you could go ahead and load up and throw in very, very heavy as the bottom has been formed, and then you're going to get ready for that takeoff, right? But realistically, with these base tokens, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. These tokens, some of them are very predictable to reading them on charts, and other cases you just can't predict what's going to happen in the world. So in my opinion, I would just say stick to the narrative, stick to the communities, and just dollar cost average your way in into a position, and as it's falling down, right? Because it's going to be very difficult. You want to be trading these back and forth, right? For example, I'm looking to go ahead and enter GME. I was in a position early on with GME under 100K, put in like 30 bucks. I jumped in, did over 20x. So like my $130 position turned into $500. I held on to my position. Yes, 2 days ago, I ended up selling because I saw Andy at a discount. I think it was like sub 7 million market cap. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sell my GME position. So I sold my GME position at like around $112. So I probably only lost, probably broke even or lost like 30, 40 bucks on that position. But I did put it on Andy, right? It did play out so far so good on Andy. It was actually worth it because look at where Andy's at right now. I bought in with the dip on GameStop with what I had there in that position. I wish I would have just sold the top on GME. But as I mentioned, you don't know where tops and bottoms are, right? So I wish I would have sold the top at GME with 500 bucks at the top where I made it, and then threw it all into Andy. I wish I would have done that, but I didn't, right? Anyways, with what I'm saying with that story is I ended up throwing that money back into Andy on base as it was falling down. But the only reason why I did that was because I was comfortable with my position, right? I actually liked seeing the red on Andy. It did hurt a little bit, but as I mentioned with Andy, I really strongly believe in that narrative. So in whatever narrative you believe in, whether it's base Yoda, whether it's GME, whatever token you're in the space of base, I would say, stick to it in DCA, right? Because it is going to be very, very volatile. And then when you go ahead and sell for a loss, some of the positions might play out for you, but some of them might not, right? For GME so far right now, after it sold up, it's up, 81%, which is pretty cool. But it kind of sucks. But the good thing is that I put it into a project that did pretty well, right? Threw it into Andy. So I would just say consider just dollar cost averaging into a lot of these positions. As you see, this one right here, Jelly's up 22,000%. I don't know what it is, but I'm just giving you an example that it's very difficult to go ahead and time the tops and bottoms of this market right now. Overall, I do believe a lot of these positions will be worth, in my opinion, holding on to for the next 6 to 12 months. Or 3 to 6 months. It's almost a guaranteed win for you, right? We have meme coin season right now starting, which we're going to go ahead and look into the charts. Bitcoin is more than likely probably going to hit $85,000 in the coming weeks. So I think right now there's exposure into the market where risk on exposure. I think this is the time to go ahead and be risking a little bit more extra money, in my opinion, right? So base Yoda looks pretty good. It looks like typically after these massive run-ups, we're going to go ahead and see some sort of area of support being found. And that's what we're actually waiting for right now at the moment. It looks like typically, as I mentioned, when we see these tokens run up like this, we will go ahead and see some sort of drop. But as I mentioned, just if you believe in the narrative, stick to it. Don't go ahead and panic. Base Buddha. You just got to go ahead and buy into tokens that people will like, man. Tokens people will like is always a move. I do feel like this one with Yoda, people would definitely go ahead and buy it. I mean, look at this right here, 6 million. Sounds pretty high, but I think it's probably going to go break past 20 million market cap plus and above. And that's the thing with a lot of these tokens. A lot of these base tokens will go ahead and do that. They will go ahead and break past 20 million market cap and above. So that's pretty cool. Another token that I'm very bullish on right now is called Landwolf. This is on base as well. I actually just went ahead and I jumped on this position yesterday. Shout out to, I think his name is Jose. I was watching his channel when he talked about Landwolf, and I quickly went into it and I looked at the charts and I was like, dude, I'm going to freaking buy this. So I ended up putting like about 30 bucks into this position, not much, because that's like what I had just flowing around. And because I ended up getting into a pre-sale and I got rug pulled pretty much. It was aped. I put in like about $180 and pretty much lost everything. I was only able to pull out like 25 bucks. So I almost pretty much made my money back on Landwolf now that I think about it. You know what I mean? I put in about 30 bucks. My position at its all-time high at 3 million market cap was about like 80 something bucks. So I'm making up for my loss right there on Ape. So hopefully that comes back very soon. But yeah, pre-sales, I would kind of stay away from them, guys. Don't jump into pre-sales. I think they're very, very, I don't want to just say risky, but they're worthless almost, because you get hyped up to go ahead and put your money into a pre-sale, and 9 out of 10 times a pre-sale is probably not going to do good, man, honestly. We had the whole entire boom token take off, and like everybody wanted to do pre-sales, and a lot of the pre-sales that I've seen have mostly done pretty bad. Like I said, it's 9 out of 10 that do pretty well. One of them does well out of all those 10 tokens they launch, right? So I am in one pre-sale, Slothana. We're gonna go ahead and see how that goes. I bought in early on, I think last month or something like that. So I threw in about 200 bucks at the time of Solana, what it was worth. We're gonna go ahead and see the next coming days if they do pretty well, or if it's another freaking rug pull that they do. You know what I mean? As I mentioned, with these tokens, especially the pre-sales, I wouldn't suggest throwing too much money, right? Just only invest in what you're willing to lose, because honestly, 9 out of 10, you're probably gonna freaking lose. Like you're better off buying something and spoiling yourself instead of going on a pre-sale and throwing like freaking thousands of dollars just to go ahead and watch that thing go all the way to zero. And that's where greed kicks in, right? That's why we're having what we're seeing right now in the market is it's greed. When people start throwing in random money to people, it's greed that's causing that, right? So just be very, very careful. I wouldn't suggest pre-sale. Save your money for some positions instead. So looking at Land Wolf, I will be making a video on this. This is looking extremely bullish. It looked like a bull flag to me on the daily, and this is the reason why I went ahead and I jumped in. As I mentioned, a lot of these positions have run up already, so I would just consider buying on the dip or dollar cost averaging as it continue to fall down, right? So we're going to go ahead and see how it comes in the next coming days and see if these positions continue to pump, right? As I mentioned, all these tokens, if not all, most are going to be at least minimum 20 to 30 million market cap plus tokens. So I think Land Wolf is going to be one of them as well. So definitely check that out. One of the plays that have been playing out for me pretty well has been Benny. So Benny, damn, that's freaking insane, bro. That is freaking insane. So Benny hit new all-time highs. So congratulations on everybody that's in Benny. Those are actually my two highest positions right now. It's actually Benny and Andy on base. And I actually went ahead and shared this with my Discord a while back, right? I've been sharing a lot of these plays with my Discord. So if this is something you don't want to miss out, it's completely for free. I'm literally just trying to go ahead and get a whole bunch of like-minded individuals to go ahead and network with one another. So that's what the Discord's for DeFi Titans. Go ahead and join down below in the description. Eventually it will become a paid group, so take advantage of it right now. That's completely for free. But I have talked about Benny in the past, and I actually went ahead and I said this on my Discord today. I tagged everybody and I said, started with $400 last week on base. Have taken a few L's already, but still in profits considering making the change to base. Solana memes are dead in my opinion. They have made huge runners already. Chances are low now to hit 100Xs. Don't FOMO, just DCA, holding on to two positions and not looking to exit until the next 3 to 6 months. And I started off with about $400 in the last 2 weeks, let's just say 2 weeks ago, right? My account right now, it's probably higher now because I'm looking at Benny and it's at 7.75 million market cap. So when I took the picture of this or the screenshot, it was a lot lower, right? So this is at $2,400, right? $400 to $2,400 is not life-changing money. But one thing that I could tell you is that ever since I kind of stopped leverage trading these last couple of weeks or months, I don't stress about these positions, dude. I literally just put money in these positions. I check them here and there, and then I go out and do whatever I have to do throughout the day. I'm not in there sitting, worrying about getting liquidated, worried about, losing all my money. I go to sleep comfortably. If I see a dip, I wish there was more money around for me to throw into it. Right. That's literally what my portfolio is like right now at the moment. Like when I was leverage trading like crazy, I was literally sitting in the charts at all times, like literally hours every day, looking at the charts, panicking of getting liquidated, and leverage trading is really easy to turn money, right? I've done multiple accounts. I've done thousands of dollars of positions. You know, one of my biggest positions being my quickest one that I grew was $100 into $20,000 in less than 2 weeks. Leverage trading Pepe 2, which I shared on live stream with all of you, right? So all of you that have been long-term supporters on my previous channel, Altcoin John, were part of that journey with me, right? So it's not the first time where I've been able to turn a couple $100 into a few thousands of dollars, right? This position right here, $2,400, not exciting, it's whatever, but it's cool. Like I said, I don't have to stress about it. I don't have to worry about liquidations. I don't have to go ahead and worry about day trading it every day. I don't have to worry about, you know, the market doing liquidity grabs. I don't have to worry about any of that, right? Because I'm very confident in the two positions that I'm holding. And for me, I would rather see my position slowly grow over time without having to do too much maintenance to it, right? I look at the charts probably a few times a day just to make sure where it's at. But besides that, I don't really stress too much about it. Just choose a few narratives that you're very bullish on. DCA, stick to the narrative, and watch your freaking portfolio grow in the next 3 to 6 months. Right now, leverage trading is super, super risky, and you're more than likely going to lose money, right? And at least with this, you're almost not, you're going to go ahead and minimize that right there, right? Benny's doing pretty good right here. I think this one's going to do at least minimum. Also 200 million plus market cap on this. So Benny, I'm super, super bullish on this. Benny is like one of like Coinbase's directors or something like that. Yeah. So bullish. That's already bullish enough for me, right? So same thing with this token. I bought this token pretty early on. I bought Benny at around this level right here. I bought him within this zone right here. Still holding on pretty strong. Haven't sold for profits on any of these tokens. Be careful. You should take profits. But I'm pretty confident in these positions, so I'm not taking profits. I'm just diamond handing it, I guess. But I might consider taking a little profits onto Benny to leverage trade GME, because GME was a position I actually exited 2 days ago, and I figured there was going to be a reversal, and I think GameStop is also going to like literally skyrocket. This was my buy signal right here. I literally did this right here in order to go ahead and confirm that this thing was going to rocket. So literally after the live stream, hopefully this thing doesn't run up anymore. Hopefully I could go ahead and get an entry, and I will throw in a couple $100 in this position. Probably I'll shave off like probably $300 out of Benny, and I'll throw it into GME on base. It did hit 2 million plus market cap, and as the market right now is currently reversing, I do believe this thing's going to go up higher, because if I'm not mistaken, I think GME on Solana is actually up a little bit over 100% today, and that is one of the reasons why I'm bullish. Maybe I was exaggerating, but I could have sworn I saw GME like pump today on Solana. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is probably the time. I guess it did, but I guess it dumped back again, man. I think also this thing's going to be a play in the future, but in my opinion, Solana plays are dead, man. Like, I was in Solana these last couple months, and let me tell you, it was a fun journey to be in. But right now, Solana just has way too many freaking meme tokens, and too many people have made already millions in Solana. It's super oversaturated at the moment. So you're probably going to lose more money than actually make money in Solana right now, in my opinion. You could continue to gamble on Solana meme tokens. Do it. For me personally, it was fun. I learned a lot about Solana, but it's not something that I would say that, like, I'm not as excited as I am with base. And that's probably because I feel like I was late to the Solana party. I entered Solana meme tokens literally like very heavy, like last month and a half ago. Like around February, March is when I entered Solana. meme tokens pretty heavy, and that was at the top, right? I did trade Bonk and a few other Solana meme tokens around November before they took off, but not as heavy DeFi in Solana until February and March. So that was like near the top of all the meme coins on Solana where everything started dumping, right? So maybe that's why I have kind of a bad taste of Solana. I've literally just lost a lot of money. I've made a lot of money on Solana, but I've lost more money than I made. And I feel also like it just oversaturated. If you were to go over to the meme tokens right now that we see, we already have Dog with Hat, Solana. We also have Book of Memes, Solana. We also have, what's that other freaking token on Solana? Slurf. That's 3 tokens already on freaking Solana. 4 Myro, 5 Solana. So there's already a good handful. I could even probably call like a handful, like probably, let's just say 10 Solana tokens that I have already pumped like crazy, right? So if you had a couple $100,000, a couple $1,000, dude, I'd feel comfortable throwing $500,000 into Dog with Hat. Why? Because I'm sure this thing's probably gonna hit like, it's probably gonna go up to like $10 as the bull run comes in, as retail starts pouring in. Well, this thing will probably run up to like $10, bro. $6, $6 to $10. Not a lot of money, but if you're playing with big bags like $500,000 to $1 million, dude, that's, why not? It's safer than what we're doing, right? So that's what I'm saying with Solana. There's already plays that are already established, so you're kind of late to that party, in my opinion. Like if you weren't part of Dog with Hat, if you weren't part of Book of Memes and all these other big Solana plays, I'm sorry to tell you, but your chances are very, very minimized. It doesn't mean that there can't be another Solana token that takes off. 100%, it could happen, but the chances have now become very, very low, right? Right now, Pepe, I think the Pepe narrative is going to be very, very strong this season. We're already seeing it with all the tokens such as Andy on Base, Andy on Blast, Bobo, all these other tokens on the Pepeverse, right? I think those tokens, even with Pepe, I think still going to run up pretty nicely, right? Would I throw up a lot of money into Pepe? Well, if you have a small bag like me where I'm starting all the way from scratch, I started with $400. My account right now is at $2,400 in 2 weeks. I would rather take the risk. I'm more of a risk taker. I have a tolerance for risk. A lot of people don't, right? So if you don't have the same risk tolerance as someone like myself, then yeah, stick to your Pepe, stick to your Dog with Hats, stick to your Flokies, stick to the basic memes that will probably do and give you a 5 to 10x, right? Stick to that. To me, a 5 and 10x, it's really nice, but I already feel like investing in crypto is super risky, right? So if my money's already going to risk, might as well go all in, right? And I'm not telling you to put in $100,000 into a lot of these base tokens. I'm telling you, if you're playing with big bags, like $100,000 and above, I would say stick to your top meme tokens, throw in a good chunk of your money, and then on base, you could play with $1,000. $1,000 is like having a $10,000 bag on base. You know, now obviously the more money you throw in, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. You know, that's part of the game. But when it comes to base, the beautiful thing about it is that you could throw in a couple $100 and turn it into a couple thousands of dollars, right? For me, that's what excites me. It's like turning nothing to something, right? And that's why for me, base, not just meme tokens, I'm very, very bullish on, but I'm very bullish overall on the whole entire narrative and the space, right? I've been yield farming on base these last couple of days. I've been playing with a couple farms, staking to go ahead and actually understand the blockchain, right? Because you need to go ahead and understand these platforms. You need to understand what platform to transact on, what platform to exchange, alternatives, look at different wallets, look at different exchanges to go ahead and look at these tokens, learn new things, because as retail starts entering the market, which they haven't yet, but when they do, this market's going to pump up even higher, and they will be our exit liquidity. Okay? You heard that right. If you're watching this video right now and you're in the market in crypto, in the next coming months, as retail starts coming in, you'll notice it. You'll notice it when they start talking about it on the news, or you're getting random phone calls from like a friend or a business partner, or an ex-husband or ex-wife or cousin or a lost uncle calling you out of the blue, asking you, how do I buy this Pepe coin? Uh, when you start receiving phone calls like that, people that you haven't talked to in years start showing up in your life asking you how to buy into this cryptocurrency thing because they've noticed and they've seen how successful you've been. That's going to be our call to exit the freaking market, man. That's going to be our exit liquidity, right? And I know it sounds a little harsh, but that's the reality of the truth. The reality of the truth is that in order for everybody to exit their positions with the money that you're going to be making, if you make an 100 or 20,000 X, you're going to need someone to go ahead and buy up that position at the high end for you to profit out of them, right? So I know it sounds a little harsh, but this is the truth, and sometimes the truth kind of sucks. But as retail pours in, that's going to be our exit liquidity. Our exit liquidity for our bags being at 500,000, over 1 million. Dude, this is very, very doable. I'm not sure if any of you follow, and I'm sure you have, like anybody that's probably watching this live stream right now, I'm assuming you're probably exposed to base. And if you're not, consider it. Like I said, it's not something I wouldn't say not to entertain, right? Don't ever stick to one blockchain. I'll tell you that. See, the thing with me, I don't care what freaking blockchain we're using, man. I'm gonna learn it because I'm here to make money. I don't care about Solana being better. I'm not a freaking Solana maxi. I'm not an ETH maxi. I'm not a freaking Bitcoin maxi. I don't give an F about any of this, to be honest. Like, I like the blockchains, but I think at the end of the day, they're all freaking scams, man. Like, really sit down and think about it. They're all pretty much doing the same thing, right? Eventually, one of them is going to be the big player, but regardless of the fact, as I'm saying, I don't give an F which blockchain we're going to use. I'm just following where the money's going. I'm following where the whales are going. And the whales, all the Solana whales that made a lot of their money, they're pouring their money into Base now. They're understanding that Solana is oversaturated right now. It's broken, and they're seeing that there's no longer that much opportunity in Solana. So they're going into Base, they're going into Blast, they're going into Degen, which is layer 3 of Base. They're going into these new blockchains, Ton, which I'm going to be also dabbling into. These are blockchains you need to go ahead and learn, because as you jump into these blockchains, you'll be able to take advantage of the market and the opportunities earlier than anybody before, right? And the thing about that is that the lower you're going to be able to take a smaller risk, and you're going to be able to benefit from it because you're one of the first ones, right? So you can literally throw in 50 to 100 bucks into Base and Ton and Degen, and if the token that you jumped into takes off, you can literally turn that into hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I would rather risk $100, $200 into these new blockchains to learn about them, because I think that's very important, learning about them. And then two, if you hit it in one of those tokens that you put your money in, you're gonna make so much freaking more money than you would sticking to one narrative. Like the people that were ETH maxis lost a lot of money because they never pivoted into Solana. They ended up pivoting into Solana later down the line. You don't want to be one of those people. Do not fall in love with any of these blockchains. At the end of the day, they pretty much practically almost do the same damn thing. And we're all here to make money, right? Like, what are you in this space for? Are you here because you freaking love the technology so much? Or are you here to make financial freedom or to make money, right? I'm here to freaking make money, man. That's really the only reason why I enjoy crypto. It's cool, it's fun, I like the technology side of things. But at the end of the day, I think it's all full of BS. And honestly, the chosen one is going to be the chosen one, right? Because if we go back to CoinMarketCap right now, what happened to Cardano, man? Like what's up with Cardano? What happened to Polkadot? You don't hear people talking about any of this, man. It's because they don't care. A lot of these tokens are going to run up when they want to run up. But the reality of the truth is that if you're not starting with over $100,000 plus in a lot of these bags, you're not going to make a killing in this space. But if you're starting with a couple $100 with a few $1,000s, like under 10 grand, your best bet is having a little bit of exposure to meme tokens, right? This guy crashed right here. I'm sure a lot of you haven't been living under a rock, but if you have, I've been following Crash for about almost a year now, right? I faded a lot of his freaking calls, man. A lot of his freaking calls. And I've seen a lot of them do freaking crazy gains, right? And after I heard him talk about base, I was like, you know what, dude? I'm not going to fade on this. So I quickly learned base. I didn't really buy into Brett. I'm holding a small little bag. And definitely when I come across bigger money, I'll definitely go ahead and buy into Brett, right? Because Brett's like the Pepe on base. Like, it's at a 700 million market cap. I think this thing's probably going to hit like 4 billion plus market cap. So if I had big money, like let's just say like 500,000 plus, I'd probably put in a quarter or like 150,000 into Brett's and just let it sit there, because it's like a guaranteed win. This is going to be the first meme coin on base to hit 1 billion if it hasn't. Maybe there's another one. I think it might be Normilio, I think was the first one, I'm assuming. But if not, let's just call it Brett being the first one, right? Let's just say Brett, because that's the only reason why I knew about base, because I heard Brett this, Brett that, and I jumped into it, right? So Brett's going to be like the chosen meme token, in my opinion. One of the chosen meme tokens on base, right? Well, this guy Crash ended up putting about $15,000 into this position. A week later, his position became worth over $1 million, right? So now his position's worth today over a little bit over 3 to 4 million. I think it might be almost close, because I know it is all-time high when it was around 800 million market cap. I think his position might have been worth about 8 million, or I think. Because the thing is, if you look at the market cap right here, the screenshot says 1 million. Market cap's at 1.4, 140 million. Brett right now is at 700, so his position's probably worth about 6.5 million, I think, or 5.5 million. Anyways, dude, this guy turned $15,000 into over $1 million. Like, $1 million's already a freaking good chunk, man. And he says he's gonna turn this into 50 million, which I believe. So that's gonna be freaking insane. But what I'm trying to tell you is, this guy has hit multiple freaking projects, bro, that I just literally didn't jump into. I either jumped into them too late or I didn't jump to them at all, right? So I'm not fading his calls anymore. So I'm fully exposed to base tokens. I'm not in Brett, but I am in other tokens that I believe that are going to be just as big as Brett. One of them being Brit. I think this one could go ahead and take off with the hype. But as I mentioned, anything pretty much base related it's like a guaranteed win, man. It's like, I don't like saying guaranteed, bro, but see, this is the thing. When you're willing to take the risk early on in the market, you're able to reap the rewards early on. And right now with base, you can literally almost throw your money in any of these top trending tokens, and they'll do very, very well. They'll do super well. How's it going, Verdon? Great to see you, bro. Jackson, how's it going, man? I hope you're having a good one today. Happy 420 to all of you. I didn't see the comments. I don't know why the comments are not appearing, so I apologize for not seeing them early. Okay, now they loaded on my phone. So this is the thing with base, man. And the transaction fees are freaking like minimal to none. And two, the risk that you're putting yourself into these tokens are almost none. Like, it's a high risk, low reward, because if you look at it this way, you're learning a new blockchain, which to me is totally worth it. Like, why not go ahead and throw some money down? Even if you lose a couple $100, you at least learned a new blockchain. So when you do find the project that's gonna take off for you, you at least learned something that most people don't even freaking know right now. So to me, it's a win-win situation, right? As I mentioned, it all depends about your mindset. To me, I don't mind losing money if it comes to learning. Obviously, no one wants to freaking lose money, bro. But I've already taken a few L's on base. But so far, out of those two heavy positions that I'm heavily loaded in, actually, I wasn't even heavily loaded. I only had 400 bucks, and now it's worth over $2,000 in 2 weeks, right? Off of two plays, I've taken a lot of L's already. But now I'm learning what to do and what not to do in this space. All you got to do is just stick to the belief. If you believe in one base token or one community, just do it. Dollar cost average and patiently wait. As I said, that's the thing I did with Andy, and that's the thing I'm doing with Benny. I'm not looking to sell these positions anytime soon. If I do sell, I'll take small little profits. But Benny, as I mentioned, has a very low circulating supply. This thing's gonna rip to 20 million plus market cap, and I bought in very low, so like my risk is none, man. Like I bought in right here. I bought in right here at this bottom. I was willing to take the risk early on right here. So tell me, what do I have to worry about now? What do I need to worry about? Even if this thing dumps, let's measure this top to this bottom. I see this thing comes crashing down 80% or even 90%, I'll still be in profit to my position. That's what you get when you're willing to take the risk early on. That when it starts pumping, you don't have to worry about your position anymore because you're deep in profits. Right? Even if this thing was to dump 90%, I'll still be in profits, break even. Same thing with Andy, man. Andy's a no-brainer. I'm telling you, the one on ETH hit 150 million market cap. Are you telling me that this one's not going to do that same thing? This thing has like about 1 billion circulating supply. Same thing goes with this position, right? Even if this thing was to go ahead and dump all the way down right here, I'll be at a break even if this thing dumps 85% from where it's at right now, because I bought it right here at this bottom. So my entry wasn't as good as Benny's. Benny's entry was like freaking A+, man. But as I mentioned, as this thing continues to break out of this position right here, or I mean out of this resistance, and it makes new all-time highs, when this thing breaks out, even at an 80% dump, guess where that's going to be at? If you measure this top to this bottom, at an 80% dump, that'd be at the lowest resistance right here, which is sub 10 million plus market cap. So do you see that, like when you enter these positions early on, your position is not as risky anymore, is what I meant to say. The risk is minimized. But I do want to mention this, sometimes it doesn't go your way. I've already taken a few L's. I jumped into Poon, for example, at 6 million market cap. Look what this thing did. I jumped in right here, thinking I bought the bottom, and then it dumped. My position's pretty much worthless. Luckily, I only threw in like about $100 and something in here. Bowden, another one. This one I think was just a pure pump and dump. You could just tell when there's whales that load up or insiders. Probably the team dumped on this, man, because this doesn't look healthy. This doesn't look healthy whatsoever. I mean, it just pumps and it just completely crashes. Like, it's just not healthy whatsoever, right? But anyways, this thing might reverse, who knows? But this, I'm completely out. I lost my money on this. I can't even sell this thing. This thing was worth pennies out of what I put in. What else? I bought in base ship. I think this is pretty bullish too. But when I entered the position, I entered around this zone right here. And I ended up selling literally at the bottom. Like, I sold right here. So I was like down 50% of my position. And the only reason why I sold at a loss was because I loaded up on Andy. Fortunately for me, it played out. But it's not always the case, is what I'm trying to tell you. There's going to be some tokens that you get in here that are going to dump or are going to rug pull on you. So I do not want to make it seem like, every token you jump into is going to pump. I thought that, and I spread my money. Luckily, I spread my money around, but I did lose money. I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't lose money. I lost a few $100s. already dabbling in base. Also a pre-sale. I got into Ape. I threw in about $200. Luckily, I didn't throw in more. I was about to throw in 1,000, but I was like, you know what? I know pre-sales do bad. Let me just go ahead and throw in 200. More than likely, it's probably gonna dump, but let me go ahead and give it a try. This thing went to zero. Supposedly, it had some sort of contract problem, you know. But that thing dumped. You know what I mean? So like, I lost there too. So there's a few tokens that I've already lost money on. But so far, the two positions that I've been very strong in have already made up for all those losses. And what I could go ahead and tell you is just stick to the narrative. The other token that I'm in right now that I jumped in that I'm going to be very, very bullish on is Landwolf. I came across this other YouTuber named Jose. Shout out to Jose. He mentioned Landwolf, and I checked it out, and it was right here. And I looked at this pattern. I'm like, bull flag. And I actually shared it on my Discord. Like, I actually shared it yesterday. I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Did I share it yesterday or today? Oh, that was today. I lied. But I entered yesterday. Bull flag breakout on daily. Jumped in at 1.23 million last night. This thing hit 3 million plus market cap. So as long as you stick to the narratives that you believe have hype or have a pretty strong community, it's worth it. See, with Landwolf on base, I can't tell you how high it could go. One thing that is interesting, though, that I just noticed compared to these other tokens is that this has a very high supply. This has 420.69 trillion, which is the same amount that Pepe has, I believe. So they have a lot of freaking tokens. Meaning that I'm not saying Landwolf can't hit 1 billion. It could, but it's not going to happen as quickly as with these other tokens, right? Like with Benny, they have a pretty low supply. They have about 996 million. If this is correct, 996 million. Let's see. This one, a Ski Mask Dog, which I'm pretty bullish on and I've been eyeing it for a while, 1 billion supply. So most of these tokens have a pretty low supply. So I would say the narrative, in my opinion, is sticking to low supply tokens as well. Not saying that the higher ones aren't going to do as well. I'm just saying that from a visual perspective, it's going to be a lot quicker for these tokens with smaller supplies to literally rank up very quickly on the charts. And the higher the chart goes, the higher the meme goes, the more excited people are going to be. So if Benny jumps into, like, let's say 10, 20 million plus market cap, it's going to look super attractive for Benny. Like right here for Benny, now that we just made new all-time highs, it's going to be so much easier for Benny to go up even quicker because of a low supply. Because visually, people are going to be looking at this, they're going to be like, damn, look how much it ran up. But what people don't realize is that the supply is a lot lower, right? So also keep that in mind. Brit, for example, this one is at a 1 billion supply too. So when you talk about these tokens reaching a 1 billion supply or 1 billion market cap is very, very doable. Let me go ahead and read the comments right now that we have. Jackson Flower, happy 420. What's your top pick on base right now? I need more exposure to base. Happy 420, bro. My favorite one right now, it's Andy. It's Benny. I think those two are gonna be good. Someone else on my stream a few days ago talked about Ski. I think Ski is gonna be a very good one. I'm not sure if I talked to this with anybody, but I could have sworn I talked with somebody on the phone, or I don't know, either the stream or the phone. I told someone that I'm very bullish on Ski Mask Dog because I feel like this is going to be the dog with hat narrative on base. That's what I think. I'm not invested in Ski Mask, but I was looking at this, and I've been looking at this for a while, right? Because I want to know if this is bullish or not. And if you didn't get an entry on this, I'm sure there's probably going to be an entry on Ski. But I would say Andy and Benny are the two narratives that I'm very, very bullish on. And yeah, I'd say that'd be it, man. Another one that could be worth trading would be GameStop, which is what I'm considering today. It did actually, yeah, it's actually breaking out on where I was looking at to enter. Like, this is exactly why I put this support right here, because I was looking to re-enter. So I might throw in a couple $100 in GameStop and just swing trade this thing up and capture a nice little 3x. Because I think that would be like, if I put in $200 to $300, that'd be like what, $1,000, which I could throw into another project. I could throw in that $1,000 into what is it called? GameStop, or not GameStop, Andy. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just trying to figure out ways to make more money right now. Now that I'm pretty much dried out of powder, right? Another one that I'm pretty bullish on is CJ. I got on this one pretty early on. I don't know what happened here. It was like a major fake out, man. Honestly, this is a major fake out on CJ. I don't know what happened here, but I think this is going to break out very soon as well too. So CJ, I bought in right here. I was actually in profits. I only threw in like $30 right here, and then I think I ended up throwing more around this zone right here where I thought it was going to break out, but it didn't. It actually got rejected. So with CJ, I'm down quite a bit, but I did buy in right here like around $30. I didn't sell because I really believe in this narrative, but I think CJ is going to be a good one too to consider. A very strong community. They use AI on their Telegram, and I think when people are jumping into base tokens, as I mentioned, people are going to get into what they understand and what they like, right? And GTA San Andreas is actually one of my favorite GTAs. I think the website's pretty clever, so I think this is what people like, right? So you have to also remember that a lot of these tokens probably already ran up a lot, and they're on dips. So like for me personally, I'm still holding on to this position on CJ, and I'm actually kind of glad that it dumped a lot, because if this thing is still pretty solid, which I believe it is, when this thing starts to pick back up, this thing's going to freaking skyrocket. And I think its all-time high was like 20 million plus market cap. So for me personally, I'd be super excited. Right now I'm just waiting to see how the floor is being held, but I'm pretty sure there's some sort of breakout's going to happen. And once I go ahead and get that confirmation of volume picking up, which right now there really isn't much, we do see a little bit of buying pressure, but not too much, right? We mostly see a little bit more. Actually, yeah, we are seeing a little bit more buys, but the sell pressure is still there, right? So I want to go ahead and see this bottom out, but I do think CJ is going to be another meme token that's going to be very big on base. So right now I'm just waiting for this thing to find its bottom and then load up, and hopefully, you know, throw in a, because like, keep this in mind, if you throw in $100-$200 right here at this bottom and this thing does a 20x or a 10x, you just turned yourself, you know, $200 into $2,000 with little to no risk, right? Doing nothing, not having to worry about freaking TA, not having to worry about liquidations, not have, you know what I mean? It's just a narrative. So this is another one that I'm looking at very heavily. Wolf, I think it's pretty bullish, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think it's probably going to do what a lot of people are thinking, in my opinion. Yes, I'm in profits in this position, but I don't think it's going to do as good as the one on Avalanche. I know the one in Avalanche right now is at 12 million plus market cap, and I would put in money in the one in Avalanche. I don't know how to use Avalanche yet, so I got to learn how to use that. People are basing all these other tokens on like the color scheme. So people are saying Pepe is the one on ETH. Base is Brett. Blast is Andy. Andy's about almost the same market cap as the one in base. I'm not sure if it still is, but last time I checked, they were about the same. So people are basing this narrative that a lot of these tokens are going to be based on the color of the blockchain, right? So I guess it makes sense. What I'm really looking at is where the hype's at, right? And I think the one on Land Wolf on Avalanche is really where it's at, right? And it kind of makes sense. If people are saying it's based on the color, it's red, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really tell you much on that. It's very difficult, man, when you're like a TA person and you listen to these narratives and they sound so freaking crazy, but they're true. You know what I mean? That's how people really think, and you can't deny that. So like as stupid as some of these conspiracies that I'm saying sound, trust me, I know they sound crazy, but you have to kind of think like the masses, right? If you think too technical, I feel like that's where you start losing in the market. People are gonna go based on sentiment and what they feel and what they like. They don't care about like the blockchain so much. They don't care if this is support and resistance. They really don't care, right? So I've realized that when it comes to meme tokens, don't put too much TA into it. Put more sentiment into it. And when it comes to real cryptos like Ethereum and Bitcoin, technical analysis, you want to put your emotions out of the table and just focus on the numbers, but also put emotion into it because you're going to be able to predict what happens. Same thing with like Bitcoin, right? I think $85,000 is around the corner in the next coming weeks. And we're going to talk about that right now. And we're going to talk about why I'm super bullish on meme tokens right now on base. I would say overall meme tokens on Ethereum, Solana as well, but I think you'll make more money on base, in my opinion. Are you feeding questions? What does that mean? X limited my account, so I could only research so much. Crash X account, he has posts mentioning some platypus. Yeah, I cannot find it. Is it a scam warning? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. What's the deal with Bobo on base? Is it canceled? The activity is odd and no activity at their X account. I haven't seen it, bro. I haven't seen Bobo on base. Also, how do we find a recording of the Coinbase Zoom call today that spoke about the memes? Chicago, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest. I'm kind of clueless of what you're telling me right now. Maybe this is it. This could be it, maybe. I know Jesse. I think this guy's like somewhat something with Coinbase, I think. What is this? Honestly, I don't know. I didn't even know there was a talk with Coinbase today, man. I would suggest like probably going onto the Coinbase Twitter and checking there directly. But I don't know anything about Coinbase meme token call. I don't know, bro. Like I really don't know. Like I don't know what to tell you. Because I'm pretty clueless with what you were asking me on that. And like Bobo on base, I didn't even know about that. I don't know about any of the other questions you asked me pretty much. X limited my account, so I could only research so much. He posted mentioning some platypus. Let me see. Let's go ahead and look at Crash. I follow Crash pretty actively, man. Like I watch him every day. I don't watch his tweets. I do watch his video and I try to stay up to date on his content, but I haven't seen him talk about no platypus. Let's go ahead and find it. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, and the Bobo he's been talking about is the Bobo on ETH, not the one on base. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, a platypus. I don't know anything about a platypus. Yeah, I don't know. But, talking about Andy on base, we had this Twitter space back on the 15th, which I didn't listen to. A few tweets about Andy and a few more right here with Jesse. I guess this is probably the talk with, the the base meme token that you're talking about, or the base memes talk with Coinbase, I really don't know, man. Honestly, it's like I kind of keep up to date with all this information, but at the same time, I kind of really don't. It's like I understand the narrative, so like I really don't need to go ahead and listen to Coinbase to tell me that, right? But I don't know. Maybe you're talking about the spaces. I'm not too sure though, to be honest. This is pretty cool though. I would get a skateboard like this based. It's pretty freaking cool, man. No, yeah. So I really don't know. I wish I was able to tell you exactly what you were asking, but I have no idea. But by the way, check out Blofin Exchange. No KYC, $5,000 in sign-up bonuses. Go ahead and use my link down below. But this is Ape, the token that I jumped into. And Zach XBT said, stop sending funds to these meme coin pre-sales with incompetent, I can't even freaking say it right now, dude. Somehow they raised 3.5 million and cannot even read a block explorer. I guess they went ahead and messaged him saying like, hey, like what happened? I have no clue about how to read any meme coins or the blockchain in general. Like imagine raising over like freaking $3 million and then messaging someone and asking them how they could go ahead and read the blockchain. Like, dude, you can't make this thing up, man. You can't make this thing up. I feel like they probably only said that to Zach just in order for them to cover their footsteps and not be exposed. They said they're going to be doing a relaunch soon, bro, but I don't even freaking know what that means. I really doubt they're going to do a refund, dude. I don't think they're going to refund anything. I lost my money on it, bro. It is what it is. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about technical analysis on Bitcoin. I think we had enough with the meme tokens. I think I did about an hour and 11 minutes of shilling Andy. So if anybody has Andy bags or freaking Benny, congrats. I just went ahead and I shilled our bags, right? No, but for reals, I really do believe these are strong narratives. But let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin now, right? Why I believe $85,000 Bitcoin is around the corner, right? So I have a lot of scribbles here. We're going to go ahead and start off with the chart right here on the left. And we're going to go ahead and talk about this. We're going to go ahead and talk about $85,000 Bitcoin. So just hear me out real quick. I'll give you both bullish, bearish case scenario. I think regardless of the fact, these are still both bullish scenarios, right? In my opinion. Let's go ahead and get rid of this this mess in the chart, which I'm going to redo it anyways, but that's fine. Just that way so it could look a little bit more appealing, right? So far, I don't want to say that I haven't been calling every top or bottom, but so far I've been calling a lot of these tops and bottoms in Bitcoin. So I'm actually quite proud of myself. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this out in the chart. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Not really the beginning, but this is where we were talking about the hype with the Bitcoin ETF and how Bitcoin was going to go to $100,000 and that everybody was going to become a billionaire and this whole entire crazy talk, right? Which I told all my viewers that Bitcoin was going to dump. I literally said within this range right here that Bitcoin was going to dump. No, everybody was freaking doubting me, saying that I was a big fudder, that no, John, it's not going to happen. You're going to watch it go to $1 billion. I'm going to become a multi-billionaire. All this talk, right? I was like, all right, man, whatever. I really wish you the best. I'm just looking out for you. But if you do, congratulations, man. I'm just, just giving you a heads up. Well, guess what? I was right on both of these scenarios. And I've been right on every freaking top and bottom on Bitcoin so far since the beginning. So just take everything I say with a grain of salt. Maybe this is the time I'm finally wrong, right? But we'll see where things go. As I mentioned, let's go ahead and talk about what we were talking about, all the hype back over here at around let's say January, when the ETF talk was coming, right? We had this whole entire fake article come out where, you know, Bitcoin squeezed to the upside, hitting as high as $49,000. Then we saw Bitcoin dump after this. I was saying within this range right here that Bitcoin was going to dump, right? And I told everybody to watch out. As Bitcoin fell and went as low as $38,000, I was actually looking to enter short, but I told everybody, hold on, everyone. As much as I want to enter short, we have to be very, very careful, because within this range is a strong area of liquidations. I told everybody there's some bullish patterns that I'm looking at right now. One of them being an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is a sign of a reversal and bullish. And as well, I mentioned that there was a strong area of liquidations for shorts right here. So I said, be very, very careful. You do not want to be shorting the freaking bottom. You short tops. Keep that in mind. You short tops. You never want to short bottoms. You never want to long tops. This is the reason why most people get wrecked leverage trading, especially on Bitcoin, because they're always buying the tops and they're always trying to short the bottoms. Like, you don't do that, man. It's very, very simple. If you just look at basic support and resistance, you'll be able to understand a lot of this, right? I keep it very, very simple. So let's go into it. I told everybody, I'm going to go ahead and see how this plays out. If Bitcoin gets rejected at around this range right here and it drops, I'm going to consider opening a short if Bitcoin falls below $40,000 and below, right? This is where I'll enter short, because that means that Bitcoin's going to dump possibly all the way down to, let's just say, $24,000. That was my narrative. But I told everybody I'm going to wait my turn and see where this goes, because I think there's a high probability that Bitcoin is going to go ahead and push it up, liquidate all the shorts, causing a short squeeze to the upside. I literally said this multiple times. I mean, you could go to my old channel. My old channel was Altcoin John, and you could literally go ahead and look at my thumbnails and look at the predictions that I was calling. Like, literally, like, you could even see from a month ago, I've been calling $85,000 Bitcoin, right? I was calling a short squeeze, Bitcoin short squeeze, Bitcoin short squeeze. Short squeeze is coming. I said this multiple freaking times. Said this multiple times, right? People ignore me. People like, John, it's not going to happen. Bitcoin's over. It's going to $10,000. I'm like, bro, weren't you just saying that it was going to go to 100,000? Anyways, guess what happened? A Bitcoin short squeeze freaking happened. Ever since then, right here around February, as soon as it touched the $42,000 as I predicted that was going to happen because of strong liquidations within this range, I told everybody, be very careful. Bitcoin is going to pump to above $69,000 and above. Trust me on that. Nobody believed me, and guess what? Bitcoin pumped and it hit as high at $74,000. So you're like, John, why are you showing me that? Well, I'm showing you this because this looks very similar to what we witnessed over here in the past. Very, very similar. Very, very similar. So what I'm looking at right now at the current time of the market, I'm looking at two case scenarios, right? If this is another short squeeze opportunity, I guess, if you want to call it, to me, we haven't fully formed a daily yet, right? But to me, this looks like it's forming a inverse head and shoulders pattern. If it forms an inverse head and shoulders pattern, we could continue to see a small little fake out with Bitcoin dumping to like around $58,000, $59,000 range, and then it's going to have a strong reversal where people are going to think this thing's going to dump, and it's going to actually push to the upside. Then it's going to slightly dump one more time, and then it's going to full on reverse and start activating a lot of the liquidations, because there's strong liquidations within this range right here around the $67,000. You could go ahead and look at CoinGlass. I won't do that right now because it's going to take us a few more minutes to look for the chart and all that. You know what? I'll do it right now. I think there's liquidations around $67,000 if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and look at that. Liquidations. Yeah, I was practically almost right. So it's within the $60-something thousand range. There's a lot of liquidations. You see right here, we have about $65,000 range. We're going to have about 21.13 million liquidations. And as well with 65,618. So keep those numbers in mind. Let's just say 65 is 66, okay? 65 is 66 is where liquidations will be activated. So now let's go back into the charts. 65 is right here, dude. We're literally about to pull liquidations right now. Like a lot, like over 20 something million dollars of is going to get liquidated in Bitcoin in the next coming hours, man. If it doesn't happen by the end of the weekend, it's going to happen in the next coming hours. So meaning, if we put this into perspective, there's going to be a lot of liquidations trigger within this range right here. Within this range right here. Let me get rid of these freaking lines. Look how far we are from getting liquidated. Over 20 something million dollars of liquidation is going to happen. And we see right here it's about 65,927, 6.28 million, and then 65,670 is going to be about $20 million of liquidation. So about a total of about 26 plus million dollars will get liquidated, and as well we have a strong area of liquidation at around 65,206. So keep that in mind, right? So we have a few numbers around 65, we have 6567, and then 6587 liquidations, a little bit over 28 million, let's just say $30 million of liquidations, right? Any little move that happens, it's gonna wreck the freaking anybody that's in the market. Whether you're longing, whether you're shorting, you're gonna get wrecked right now. So I wouldn't freaking even long Bitcoin right now. I would wait. I think Bitcoin's gonna hit $85,000. I would wait for that confirmation. As I'm saying, we're very close to literally triggering those liquidations within this range right here. And if that was to go ahead and happen, what that means is that we're probably going to go ahead and see this move happen to Bitcoin, right? Because keep in mind, we have a strong liquidations around 65,000. I think it was like 100 or 200. So that means that it's probably going to pump, it's probably going to dump, trigger liquidations, pump it one last time. It's going to create this inverse head and shoulders, possibly, this is what I'm saying, and then we're just going to go ahead and skyrocket and hit about $85,000 Bitcoin. Now, by this range right here, we have now liquidated both longs and shorts. So the people that are trading this market are the smart traders, the freaking advanced freaking traders, bro, the whales that are purposely liquidating the retail, right? Now, what's going to happen is that Bitcoin's going to hit $85,000. By this time, most people are probably going to think Bitcoin's going to go up higher. Can it go higher? Probably, but I don't think it would go any higher than 100,000 max in the next coming weeks. I say 85,000. Unless, if we were to hit 100,000, that would mean that by the end of the bull run, Bitcoin would probably hit 200,000, which I'm not saying it's possible, but I don't think it's not healthy and it's not realistic. I think if we were to go ahead and short squeeze, at the highest, we're probably going to hit 85,000. You're like, John, how is that possible? $85,000 in a couple weeks? Bro, that's a 30% pump. A 30% pump. These meme coins have done 21,000%, 64%, 85, 48%, 72%. That's pretty crazy, right? But a 30% pump, it's nothing abnormal. So if this was to happen, what's going to happen now is that they're going to go ahead and fake everybody out, thinking that Bitcoin's going to hit $100,000, and they're going to go ahead and drop this market all the way freaking down, bro. All the way freaking down is going to coming probably all the way down to $51,000, I believe. Could actually happen. We could actually see Bitcoin fall as low as $51,000, even potentially $40,000. This would be beautiful if this was to happen, man. If we were to see Bitcoin go from $85,000 all the way to $40,000, that'd take us a little bit over a 50% correction, which would be beautiful. People will be panicking, but if you zoom out, this is a major cup and handle pattern. Major cup and handle pattern. So if we were to go ahead and see this, this would be a very beautiful, nice entry for Bitcoin longs. And if we were to see either the bottom at 52,000 or 40,000, I think potentially if we were to see a reversal, we'll probably only see it around $52,000. Unfortunately, I would like to see 41,000. I don't think it will happen, but it could happen. But I don't think the market would allow that. I hope it does happen. I hope Bitcoin pumps to $85,000, crashes to $40,000, and then we buy the dip on long positions and we take advantage of the market, right? Anyways, it comes back down to $50,000. What we're going to go ahead and see is we're going to see a major reversal, taking Bitcoin. My price target is $150, $150,000. I think that's going to be the top for Bitcoin. And then this is the reason why I don't think $85,000 is unrealistic. This would be like the bullish scenario where they fake out the market, where people are going to think that Bitcoin's going to go past $85,000. Once it hits $85,000, it's actually going to dump with a 50% correction or a 35% correction, and then it's going to reverse. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a couple months, but that's the bullish case scenario, right? I guess it's bullish. Like it's a fake out, triggers a short squeeze, $85,000. This is probably the first person you heard today say that, right? That's the bullish case scenario. We see one last final pump. I think that could happen, and I think that's just to go ahead and wreck everybody. That's really what I think. Now the second case is Bitcoin's top is already in. 79 or what was it? $73,000 was a top. Bitcoin's gonna get rejected right here at 66. If it does fall below, I'd be looking to enter a short if Bitcoin falls below $59,000. Like if it falls below this zone right here, I'd probably enter a short because it's definitely going to tell me that we are going to be seeing Bitcoin fall back down to around $41,000. So if this is the top for Bitcoin, if we go ahead and measure this top to this bottom, that's going to take us to about a 44% correction, right? So that means the top is already in and Bitcoin is going to dump now, which to us, anybody that's in meme coins, doesn't freaking matter, right? Actually, Bitcoin dominance falling is actually very bullish for us. That means altcoin season happens. That means meme coin season happens, right? So regardless of the case, whether Bitcoin hits $85,000 or Bitcoin crashes, it's really bullish for us. It might temporarily hurt us, but long-term, mid-term, it's actually very bullish because typically this is the time where meme coin season happens for us anyways, right? So if that was to happen, that means the top for Bitcoin is already in. We're going to go ahead and see a fall back to $40,000. We're probably going to go ahead and see some consolidation here, some sideways action on Bitcoin leading into the presidential selection. And if it becomes bullish, then we're going to go ahead and see a major reversal to Bitcoin. Then we're going to go ahead and see us, hit these levels, taking us all the way up as high as $150,000. Like I said, I don't think Bitcoin's going to go any higher than $200,000 this bull run. My predictions is $185,000. Like I said, we could slightly touch 220,000, but I don't think we won't go any higher than 220,000. Trust me on that. I don't think Bitcoin will go any higher than that. So we're not here to predict every top and bottom. I don't know where the top is. But I can assure you that it's not going to go any higher than 220,000. That'd be like the max Bitcoin will hit this bull run. It won't go any higher than that, in my opinion. It's not going to happen. Can it happen? Yes, but realistically, it's not going to happen. Like I said, minimum, Bitcoin's going to hit over 150,000 plus. Maximum 220,000. It's gonna happen. No more than that. I don't see 300. I don't see 400. I don't see 500. That's gonna be next bull run. Regardless of the case, that's bullish, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at what's backing my thesis, right? So what's backing my thesis on this is the fact that we're actually seeing the DXY get rejected right here, which is the US dollar, right? We're seeing a lot of rejection right here at this area of resistance. So the DXY currently is overextended on the overbought territory. Typically when we hit on the RSI at these zones, we typically need to go ahead and see the DXY fall back down, right? So we might see two case scenarios right here where the DXY does pump slightly back up to 107,598, dumps, and then tries to re-break this area of resistance one more time before making its new all-time high. a higher dollar is not good for the market. It's actually quite bearish, especially for the crypto market, right? If we want crypto to go, we need the dollar to go ahead and get weaker. So with that being said, the dollar is also showing signs that it does need a reverse right here slightly and fall back down before making new all-time highs. I think the dollar is going to hit $140 plus, which is not good for inflation, right? So this is actually very bearish for the market overall. Like, to see the dollar go this high, it's actually not good, right? The bullish thing about it is that would mean that would give us more time in the market, and that means we still have about a couple more months for the bull run to actually finally end, right? Once we see the top of the dollar, let's say the top is 144, once we have that final drop, that's where a lot of the money will be made within the zone right here. And that's kind of the reason why I'm very confident in not only Bitcoin, but meme coins, because it looks like the DXY is going to pump, which is not good, which means we will be seeing some red in the market in the coming months for Bitcoin. And that means that the bull run will be pushed as long as the dollar continues to pump and finally finds a top, right? As I mentioned, I don't think the dollar is going to crash right here. If the dollar does crash right here, this is going to look super bad for the U.S. economy. And you have to keep in mind, the U.S. is having the presidential selection, and they're not going to go ahead and allow a president to completely wreck the market just yet, right? Trump is pushing for a weaker dollar. So if we were to go ahead and see the dollar go into crazy levels of inflation where it hits 140, Trump coming in office, let's say Trump comes in office, whether you like the guy or not, let's say he comes in office in the US, he's going to be like, hey guys, you know, we need a weaker dollar to make this happen. Well, the dollar's going to crash. People are going to be happy. We're all going to be rich. We're all going to be multimillionaires. And everybody in Wall Street is going to be making a lot of money in the stock market, and everybody's going to be making money in crypto. So if, you know, Trump gets elected and the dollar reaches these levels before he gets elected, or I guess now he's making the new changes, and he makes the changes, this is going to be super bullish for us. So that backs up my narrative with Bitcoin, right? Now the other one is looking at the US 100, and you're like, John, what is the US 100? The US 100 is a NASDAQ. They say that the NASDAQ moves very close to Bitcoin because it's considered like a tech company. I don't know why. A lot of people don't understand that Bitcoin and the crypto market actually has a lot of correlation to the freaking stock market. Who would have ever freaking thought? I don't like that personally, but it is what it is. These are charts, and we're not going to go ahead and get on our sentiments, right? This is why I've been able to predict a lot of tops and bottoms, is because I look at these indicators, right? I don't pull these numbers out of my butt and I say this is going to happen. No, I know it's going to happen because of what I'm looking at. And this is why I have a higher probability of knowing where the market's going to go, because I understand what I'm looking at, right? And I'm showing you right now really, really simple, a simple way to understand these charts. This is the US 100. This is the NASDAQ. So anything in the tech sector, in the stock market, every time it pumps or it dumps, typically we see that do the correlation with Bitcoin. Sometimes it slightly, reacts differently, but sometimes it's 1-to-1, right? Right here with what we see in the NASDAQ, the US 100, we see a major cup and handle pattern. And we talked about this back over here around September about what was going to happen with the market, right? And right now, this is actually very bullish in the stock market. We've been seeing a little bit of red selling pressure into the stock market. We had this BS war with Iran and Israel, which we all know it was fugazi, right? But anyways, that caused a massive sell-off in the stock market and in crypto, right? So right now, as the US 100 is falling, which I believe there's going to be a little bit slightly more red, as soon as it finds that bottom, once we have that reversal, we're going to go ahead and see the US 100, which is the NASDAQ. Guess what, guys? Make new all-time highs. That means a higher crypto market. And if we were to go ahead and see this, stock market's in a rip, man. They're going to freaking love this. Wall Street's loving what they're going to see. And they're going to love it more when Trump gets in office, right? He's going to freaking diminish the dollar, and we're going to be making a lot of money. So Let's cross our fingers he gets elected, man. I think regardless of the fact, we'll still make a lot of money. But if Trump gets in office, I'm not sure if any of you remember back in 2017 when all the weed stocks and the EV stocks were freaking pumping like crazy. I think it was 2017 for the EV. Yeah, I know it was for sure the weed stocks, though. Dude, we're going to have another narrative like that, but even higher. And crypto is probably going to pump it more because, Trump had his own NFTs and all that. So anyways, people are just going to over speculate and pump the market even higher, right? So the US 100 is looking bullish. People are calling for a crash. This is going to, dude, it's not going to freaking crash. Yes, the market's overextended. You look at the monthly, we've been pumping for months, man, over 7 months. Over freaking 7 months. Take a moment and look at this. Tell me and ask me, does this look normal to you? Does this look like a normal freaking market to you? Come on, because I want all of you to comprehend that when you start seeing a little bit of red in the market, I don't want you to panic. I'll tell you when it's a time of panic in the market. Am I telling you that inflation is not going to get any higher? No, inflation is going to get worse. The economy is going to get worse globally. This is global. Doesn't matter where you're at. It's going to affect it globally. If the country you're in, you're not seeing any massive inflation, trust me, you're probably going to see it sooner than later. But this is not a time of panic, guys. This is a time to buy the dip, not financial advice. This is a time to buy the dip. This is what the charts are telling us, to buy the dip. Buy the freaking dip is what the chart is telling us. This is going to go higher. Whether you want to believe it or not, you could be the person being on the sidelines waiting for the '08 crash, waiting for the whole market to collapse, or you could go ahead and ride the wave as the market gets overextended and then finally crashes. What do you want to be? The person you want to be on the sideline, losing money, losing opportunities because you're getting scared of a huge market crash is going to happen. It's going to happen. No one knows when, though. It could happen in 3 years. It could happen in 4 years. It could happen in a year. It could happen in 6 months. It could happen in 8 months. What I could tell you is that it's not going to happen in the next, let's just say 12 months. This market's going to continue to pump. So with that being said, now let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin dominance, right? So if I go ahead and turn over to Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin dominance is pretty much what it says it is, right? Bitcoin dominance means that as dominance of Bitcoin is shifting away, that means money is inflowing into other assets, such as altcoins and meme tokens. Do you understand why I'm super bullish and I'm very confident on these base tokens? It's not because I'm in my feelings and I think that it's gonna pump because I say so. It's gonna pump because that's what the charts are telling us. We looked at the DXY, we looked at Bitcoin, we're looking at Bitcoin dominance right now, and we're looking at the US 100. How many indicators are we using? We're using over 4 indicators in order to predict what might happen. And it's not a guaranteed. It doesn't mean it's 100% going to happen. Maybe the world ends tomorrow, right? I can't control that. But based on what the data is telling us right now, it's telling us that meme tokens and altcoins are going to be pumping as long as it follows this narrative, right? Let me go ahead and read this comment real quick. Chicago, hey, DeFi John, you're okay. Appeared to be a reasonable person. Good stuff. Glad you're back from whatever had you gone for a while. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, it was things that I wasn't able to control, which I'll talk about in the future. It wasn't my decision to disappear in the other channel. It was more of I had no option. It's a long story. I'll eventually talk about it, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. It's not that important. But just know that it wasn't it wasn't like my choice. Like it wasn't like one day I woke up and I was like, I don't want to do this YouTube stuff anymore. The YouTube was doing pretty well. I got monetized. I worked really hard for it, and then I have to pretty much start all over right now, right? So I'm starting all over from scratch and rebuilding the base again. But I'm actually a lot happier. You know what I mean? I'm in a whole different space. I'm in a whole different mindset. And I'm actually glad that I'm starting on my own terms, right? On the last previous channel, there was a lot of outside factors that I wasn't in control of, and a lot of narratives that were being pushed that I had no control over. So I don't own that other channel. So I tried my best to, continue to push content on that channel. But unfortunately, I was working with a team that I don't own the channel pretty much. That's why that's why that's why I can't post on that channel. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing. So I'm doing my own thing, and we're gonna grow. But anyways, what I think really matters, man, is that I'm no longer in this kind of pressure. So I'm more posting on my own terms, and I'm posting whatever I want, and I'm posting whatever I believe without anybody telling me what to do, right? So that's the bullish case scenario on my end. But anyways, Bitcoin dominance, right? Bitcoin dominance. Now we're going to go into another indicator. So we're going to have a total of over 5 indicators telling us why tokens on base or meme tokens are very bullish. So looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart right here, and this is what a lot of people don't know. Back in around 2021, around August, when Bitcoin dominance was around 48%, Shiba Inu was created. As Bitcoin dominance fell below that 46% mark, guess what happened? SHIB made new all-time highs. You had all the meme tokens run up on that during that time. We had a similar thing happen back in 2021. I don't remember the meme coin too much run on 2021 because I wasn't fully exposed to it. I was like kind of dabbling into it, but not full on, because I was literally coming back from getting wrecked and losing my money last bull run. So this is why I question a lot of things, because I've lost a lot of money, and I lost a lot of money last bull run, and I literally lost everything where I have to start from scratch. So this is the reason why I'm like very what is the word? I'm very on the freaking charts, bro, because I don't want to get wrecked, and I don't want any of you to get wrecked, man. I'm sure a lot of you got wrecked this last bull run, and what I went through, bro, I don't want anybody that's in my circle to go through that, right? So this is the reason why I'm like so on the charts, and I look at multiple things, because I got wrecked and I lost everything, and I'm starting from scratch, literally to the point where I wrecked my credit, right? So that's how bad I am. I literally lost everything, to the point where I had no money to freaking eat, bro. Like I was literally starving last bull run towards the end, because I lost everything. I had to start from scratch. But anyways, I don't want to ever go through that again, right? And I don't want any of you to go through that ever again. If you did go through something like that, or if you've never have, I don't want any of you to go through that, right? Because I went through it and it freaking sucked, bro. It was the freaking worst time of my life, and I hated it a lot. And I don't have anything now. That's why I'm like willing to lose more, because I lost everything. Like I feel like I've already experienced the worst. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be cautious about this, right? And this is the reason why I'm very cautious about the market. And I look at this market, like I look at everything, because I want to know where the top's at in order for us to exit. The top is not near. We still have plenty of room left, probably anywhere between 8 to 12 months left, right? It doesn't mean it can't change anytime. But there's a reason why I'm so on top of the charts, because I've lost a lot, and I don't want any of you to go through that. And if you have gone through that, you know what that feeling's like. And I would have wished we had somebody in the space to tell us where the top was at, right? But anyways, as I'm telling you, 2020 happened right here, right? 2020 to 2021. Sorry, 2021, where SHIB was created around this zone right here. Then we had dominance fall. Then we had 2021 of November. Same thing right here happened. Sorry, I'm getting my days mixed up. So this is where SHIB and all the tokens pumped in 2021, around that zone. We have 2022 right here, which I wasn't too involved in. I was slightly involved in it. And then we had last year right here, which we were all hoping for, a huge meme coin season, right? And it was right here. This is where Pepe was created, man. Around April 20th was around Pepe being created, around within this time. It was actually today, I think, Pepe was created, right? And everybody was hoping and wishing for dominance for Bitcoin to fall below 46%. That usually indicates meme coin season. Anything when Bitcoin falls below 48% and below indicates a meme coin run. That means a lot of money flies into DeFi, and that means literally every token that you put your money into literally freaking does an 100x, right? That's what everybody was hoping for 2023. Guess what? It didn't happen. We actually had dominance of Bitcoin finally break out of this area of resistance, which was tested multiple times. almost for 3 years before it broke out. And Bitcoin has now reached its dominance of about 56%, right? Can Bitcoin dominance slightly go up? I do think so. I do think Bitcoin dominance could go up. As I'm mentioning, this goes back with the thesis of Bitcoin hitting $85,000. If Bitcoin does hit $85,000 one last time, it does one last run up before it starts crashing down, and that'd be bullish for meme tokens and altcoins. That would mean that Bitcoin dominance will come up slightly around 70%, right? Around this zone right here, I think Bitcoin dominance is the highest it could go up to in the next coming weeks. And if Bitcoin dominance does break out of this resistance at 56%, that would mean that Bitcoin will hit $85,000. Eventually, a top will be reached, right? So once Bitcoin does reach $85,000 and it falls, guess where it's going to fall down to? Below 47% Bitcoin dominance. As below 47% Bitcoin dominance, that indicates a meme coin season. So that means all the meme tokens that we're on, especially base, are going to freaking pump. That's bullish, right? So the second scenario is Bitcoin has found its top. Bitcoin is no longer going to pump. And if Bitcoin has found its top, we want to closely be looking at Bitcoin dominance and watching it fall below this zone at 47 to 48. If Bitcoin reaches a zone right here in the next coming weeks, I'm going to be extremely bullish, and I'm going to be even doubling down on my positions, because that means that as Bitcoin dominance falls, we will be getting that meme coin season, right? So regardless of the fact, Bitcoin dominance can go it can't go any higher than 70%. And this is just based on technicals, right? Because Bitcoin is overextended. It'd go too high. As you see, every time it touches the overextended zone, which is like the overbought territory, it always starts dominance always starts coming back down, right? So even if on just the RSI base alone, at 70%, the RSI would already be overextended, which would mean pretty much a cycle top, or a top for Bitcoin. So regardless of the fact, Bitcoin has to come down, whether you want to agree with it or not. Whether it comes down at 85,000, whether Bitcoin goes to 100,000 and then starts crashing down, Bitcoin needs to correct. In order for us to continue this bull run, it has to correct. Doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what I say, is what the charts are telling us. It has to correct. And Bitcoin is due for a huge correction. Whether it happens or whether it doesn't happen, it needs to happen soon, right? So I don't think it would go any higher than 70% dominance. So that's one of the indicators, or the third or fourth indicator. The last indicator, which this is going to be the last one, and this is going to pretty much, I guess, if I'm showing you freaking 4 to 5 indicators, man, and you're still in disbelief and you don't believe what I'm telling you, there's no way of helping you, man. I'm sorry to tell you, but there's no way for me to convince you, because I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just showing you, and I'm showing you facts as to what I'm saying, right? Now, if you don't want to believe it with over 4 to 5 indicators, which most YouTubers won't even showcase all these indicators, they'll just say, trust me, bro, it's going to go to the moon, then I don't know what to tell you. But this is the last and final indicator, and if you don't comprehend any of what I'm saying, as far as not that you don't understand it, it's not easy to understand. I understand that. But what I'm trying to say, if you don't understand how bullish meme tokens or base meme tokens will be this season, there's no way of helping you, man. I'm sorry to tell you, if what I showed you wasn't convincing enough, I don't know what will be, because this is the most bullish thing and breakdown of why this is bullish, in my opinion. And if you don't see the value in it as to why you should be exposed to meme tokens or even meme tokens on base, then I don't know what else to say, right? But this is the last and final index to go ahead and show you this indicator, right? You can go over to blockchaincenter.net and look for the altcoin season index. Keep in mind, altcoins and meme tokens typically run around the same time, right? So right now, looking at the monthly, we do see that Bitcoin dominance is currently right now at 25. We need to go ahead and see altcoin dominance, or percentage, whatever you want to call it, the index, at 75. So we do see that we have gotten rejected, right? So it looks like this month Bitcoin might be running up. So this goes back to the thesis of $85,000 Bitcoin being possible, right? So it still is not a guaranteed, but it is at levels where it's showcasing us that Bitcoin wants to pump higher. That's what the market's telling us. The market is showcasing us that Bitcoin wants to go higher. So whether this meme coin season starts within the next coming weeks or it starts right now, it's still bullish in my case, right? So right now we see that we're at 18. In order for altcoin season to happen, we need to see these levels reach 75, right? So right now it's still showcasing a lot of indecision and mostly buying pressure on Bitcoin. This obviously could change, but we're going to go ahead and be seeing in the next coming weeks. I think no more than a week and a half, we should get a better indication of where Bitcoin's going to be heading, right? That's on the monthly. Looking at the yearly for altcoin season, we see right here that on Bitcoin is within that 25 range, and we're seeing this bounce right now. So if we do break this resistance right here around this 43, that'll mean that we're around the corner on altcoin season. Typically, altcoin season happens within this time. The only difference is that we have the Bitcoin halving, but we are also seeing right here an inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? So this is also indicating that altcoin season is around the corner. So regardless of the fact where the market goes, it's bullish in my opinion. So what I'm just trying to tell you is don't worry, don't stress, load up the dips on these altcoins. I know it might be scary. It's going to be very, very volatile. This is the reason why I'm not leverage trading right now. I'm going to go ahead and wait for Bitcoin to do its thing. And if Bitcoin finds its top, then that's when I'm going to short, right? And when Bitcoin's bottom comes in, I'm going to long. But right now, I'm staying away from leverage trading. I would rather just load up on these positions on base and play it safer, because this is a guarantee that meme coin season is coming. It's around the corner. We're pretty delayed right now. Typically, meme coin season happens like this week. Like usually around this week is usually when meme coin season happens. So if we don't see meme coin season happening by the end of April, early May, then that means we're delayed. But this is usually meme coin season around April, May, June. Typically July is a top for meme coin season. That's usually where the top for memes are. So by June and July is when we want to be exiting and taking our profits on most of these positions, because that would mean that now we're shifting back to Bitcoin season. So this is why you have to be aware of the markets and the sentiment of the markets and the time of the markets, because a lot of people sometimes buy meme tokens during Bitcoin season and they're getting wrecked and they're losing hope and they're like, oh, why is there so many rug pulls? I'm done with meme tokens, and you never touch meme tokens ever again. And then when meme coin season comes in, they end up buying the top and they get wrecked again. So they stay away from memes. There's a season for everything. There's a season for Bitcoin. There's a season for altcoins. And there's a season for meme coins and DeFi. And the season we're entering right now is meme coins and DeFi season. So in the next coming months, like I said, typically, depending on when we start this meme coin season, I think we started today, depending on when meme coin season starts, we typically have a 3-month time frame. And within that 3-month time frame is when we want to start taking profits into our meme tokens and start pivoting into the higher cap altcoins, because that's usually when a lot of these meme coins dump 80 to 90% or they never recover, right? So just be prepared of that. Adlux, how's it going, man? Yeah, life happens, Chicago. I agree with you, bro. Andy Wolf on base. Yes, bro. I've actually loaded up on what is it called? The Wolf on base. A small little bag. I put in like about $30. what I made from this pre-sale. I put in about $180 in the 8 pre-sale, and I pulled out $25, bro. You can't make this thing up. So don't dabble into pre-sales, bro. I've been wrecked too many times on pre-sales. I have one more pre-sale that I jumped into called Solana. On Solana, I jumped in that, I think it was a month ago. I think it's going to go live in the next 10 or 14 days, which is a good call because I think that's going to be meme coin season. But that's going to be my last pre-sale, man. I hope, cross my fingers, this meme coin does it for me. I only put in like about $200 worth of Solana at the time. So we'll see how that pre-sale goes. But I just dabbled into base pre-sales, and let me tell you, don't do it. Luckily, I only put in $200 in there as well, because I was very close to putting in like $500 to $1,000. But don't do that. Pre-sales are mostly going to be complete scams, or they're going to fail. So you're like their exit liquidity on pre-sales. It's a hit or miss on the pre-sales, but don't do it, man. I've only had maybe, out of this whole entire time that I've been in crypto, and I've been in crypto since 2017, the only successful pre-sales and ICOs that I've been in, and I dabbled into a few pre-sales, have only been 2 or 3. That should say a lot about pre-sales, man. A lot of these pre-sales are going to dump. Like 9 out of 10, they're going to dump. So don't waste your time dabbling into pre-sales. You're better off throwing your money into Doge and Pepe if you want to dabble into pre-sales. Unless you're going in with like a gamble. But even that with pre-sales, man, I think you're better off going to the casino online and gambling that away, because at least you'll have fun. Like if I would have put those $200 in stake or something like that, and I would have freaking, gambled it away, I probably would have had a lot more fun than putting the $200 into a pre-sale and that being worth $25. Like I probably had a higher chance playing freaking blackjack or roulette and making like triple my money than a freaking pre-sale, like straight up. So I would say stay away from Solana right now. As far as the new tokens, if you do want to be exposed to Solana, stay in DeFi, like learning the protocol, staking. And for Solana, you're better off just investing into the tokens that are already made, freaking huge market caps, unfortunately. Like Dog with Hat. I don't see Dog with Hat doing no more than like, I don't think it could do another 10x, but anything's possible. At the max, I'll say Dog with Hat will do another additional 10 to 20x, no more than that. And I think that's a little too high. I think Dog with Hat's cap will probably be at $10, $20 maybe. It's not that much, right? But if you want to dabble into Solana meme tokens, just dabble into the top meme tokens on Solana, like Dog with Hat, Bonk, what else? Ponky. What other Solana meme tokens is there? Book of Memes, Slurv, I guess. But I wouldn't Myro. Myro's for sure gonna hit $1, so I'd do Myro. But $1 is not that crazy if you really think about it. It's not that crazy. For Myro to hit $1, it's not abnormal whatsoever. Let's look at what Myro's at right now, because I'm very bullish on Myro, and if I was to make a nice little bag on these base tokens, I would comfortably throw in a couple thousand into Myro. Like if I had a good portfolio and I had like, let's say a quarter, like 300,000, I'd easily throw in like 100,000 into Myro without having to panic, because Myro's gonna hit $1. But Myro's not gonna be life-changing money if you're putting in 10 grand, bro. Then again, I guess it depends what life-changing money is for many people, right? To me, life-changing money will be like a couple million, man. I don't know. That's what I think, life-changing money would be to me, a couple $1 million. But if I had, let's just say 500,000 to 300,000 available, I'd put in like, I'll spread the 150,000 into the top meme tokens that are already out there, like Pepe, Shib, Doge, Myro, all those like top meme tokens, and just sit on it. And then if I really want to like be a little bit more risky, I'd gamble the way, and I'll just say gamble. I'll risk $20,000 into meme tokens if I had a portfolio of over 100,000 plus, which I know a lot of you do. So that's what I would do. I would never suggest putting a full 100,000 into meme tokens. You could, but I wouldn't suggest playing no more than 50 grand and under with meme tokens. I think even with 20 grand, you're solid. And then you could go ahead and sit on, higher plays, like higher convinced plays. Because if you were to put 100,000 into a token and you do a 10x, bro, with minimum to no risk, that's about $1 million if I'm not mistaken. That's a 10x right there. So that's not bad. A 10x doesn't sound crazy when you have $500, when you have $300 to invest, when you have $100 to invest. A 10x is not that crazy. But if you have $200,000, $300,000 and you're getting a freaking even a 2x, that's a good return. Even a 3x is a good return on 300,000, right? So it's all about perspective and where you're at in life. Some people are gonna be in positions in life where they can risk a lot more, and others where, you know, they're playing with less money or they're playing with more money. If I was playing with more money, trust me, I probably wouldn't be risking a lot into meme tokens. But that's just because I don't have anything anymore right now, right? I started my portfolio with $400 2 weeks ago. It's at like high 2,500s right now. Easily, I think I'll turn that into 20,000 plus. And hopefully by the end of meme coin season, I could turn that $20,000 into 60,000 plus, and then throw a good percentage of that into higher cap altcoins, which they're more guaranteed to win. And I'll just wait my turn for the seasons to come. And then you'll easily be able to turn, you know, a $60,000 into 100,000 plus or $500,000 plus easily. But I realized from my personal mistake when I lost that $20,000 in Grok when the contract got exploited BS. If I would have just played it safe and I would have just put in 20 G's into like Solana on like very low leverage or just holding on to it, I would have had over 100,000 portfolio, which I'd be dabbling with 100,000 to $250,000 right now, no problem. But see, the thing is, I wanted to do it quick. I wanted to rush. I wanted to make a quarter to 100,000 within a month, which is possible, but I wasn't thinking right. I was overexposing myself, right? There's times where you want to overexpose yourself to risk, and there's times you want to minimize your risk. This is the time to overexpose yourself with risk, in my opinion. When we start seeing that shift, that's when we want to start pulling away, right? So I would say no more than $20,000 is worth gambling into these meme tokens, because with $20,000, let's say you get into a play with $10,000, you do a 10x, that's already 100,000. You do a 20x, it's 200,000. You do a 50x, that's about 500,000. So with $10,000, you could actually do quite a lot. Even with, I think with meme tokens, anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000, so much easier to make money. So much easier. I think it's the hardest is getting to that first $1,000 to $5,000. Once you get there, it becomes a lot easier, but it's also a lot easier to lose your money, because if you put in $5,000 or $2,000 into a token that completely dumps and doesn't recover, you just lost $2,000. But if you put in, $5,000, $10,000 into a project and it does a 10 or 20x, a 10x on a 10,000, that's already 100,000. And Benny has done over a 10x. Look, I think if not over a 10x, if we measure from this top to this bottom, where's it at? That's a 12x, right? But you had to be comfortable. It's about a 13x right here from this bottom to the top, depending on where you got this bottom, right? You could have had the bottom from here, but that's a 13x. But then again, you had to be the person willing to risk $10,000 right here. And the only way you have that $10,000 of risk is two ways. You either have good insider information and it's a guaranteed win, or two, you have so much freaking money that $10,000 to you is like $1,000 or like $100. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're not at a point where you could risk $10,000, $20,000, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, if I'm being straight up right now, I'm not at that point yet, and that's where I'm trying to get to, right? But if you're at a point where you could throw in $10,000, $15,000 and losing that to you is like losing $5 because you have so much freaking money that you already made in this market, that's really where you make money. That's how Crash, I don't have his Twitter, that's how he was able to make over $5 million in less than a month. Why? Because he has a lot of money, bro. He makes a lot of freaking money. Like, if you look at his trades, he makes 100,000 plus. He probably makes easily over 100,000 plus a month trading, right? When you're making that kind of money, $15,000-$20,000 in a meme token doesn't really mean much to you. But if it hits for you, you're gonna make millions. And that's kind of like the point where you want to get to, where if you have a portfolio of 100,000 and above, and you risk $5,000-$10,000 into a meme token, you're not risking your whole portfolio. You're only risking a small portion, and if that portion pays off, you're gonna make that times 20, because that 10,000 could turn into 1,000,000 to 100,000 to 500,000 or to 1,000,000, right? So the more money you have to risk, the more money you're able to make. So that's kind of like the point where I'm trying to get to, where I could have 100,000 and dabble, throw in $20,000-$30,000 into a meme token, and if I was to lose it, that's like $300 to me. That's where I want to get to, because that's where it makes it a lot easier to make a lot more money from there, right? But with that being said, dabble into base if you haven't. Be aware of the risk. If I also tell you, if you were to ask me, hey John, I have a couple grand, let's say $10,000, what would you suggest me to throw my money into? Not financial advice. I would say put in like $3,000 to $5,000 in Andy, put another $3,000 to $5,000 in Benny. Let's just say that's $6,000. You have about $3 thousand left. I would put another $1,000 into a meme token that you kind of believe has the ability to run up, but it's kind of risky, and then I'll sit on the remaining $2,000 liquid. So just in case you come across any dips on those tokens that you bought in, you just buy, and you just wait on it, sit on it for 3 to 6 months, and you're for sure going to make over 6 figures and above easily. I know a lot of you have already since the beginning of this bull run, right? So a lot of opportunities to be made. I made a decent amount of money these last couple months, but I mostly lost it through some dumb trading things that I was doing, especially on Solana. I think I lost a lot of freaking money on Solana. But what I'm trying to tell you is that if you lost money these last couple months, like myself, this is your second redemption. Base tokens, bro. This is your base. This is your redemption right here in the market. If you don't redeem yourself this in the next coming months, it might be a little too late, right? So I totally feel you. If you have been getting wrecked these last couple months, like myself, after doing very good, keep your head up. This is our second redemption to that next run. Anyways, I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll definitely go ahead and catch all of you onto the next live stream. Happy 420. And yeah, Myro is super cheap, bro. If I had $100,000 and above and I made from these meme tokens right here on base, I'd easily throw in like 50 grand, 20 to 50 grand into Myro. It's a guaranteed, bro. It's a guaranteed freaking run up. Like, look, let's see how far away Myro is from $1. I don't think it's no more than a 20x. Look at this. Okay, so Myro, look at that freaking massive cup and handle pattern, bro. Like, this is like straight textbook, like straight up. And I remember calling this on my channel too, on my prior channel. I said, hey, this could be a fake out, watch out. But look at this. Look at this, Myro to $1, right? Look how far it is from Myro hitting $1. That's a 5x, bro. A 5x. A 5x. That would take the supply to a little bit over 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 to 800 million market cap. And the supply is at 900 million. So the supply is at 900 million. That would mean that it would take us to, it could probably surpass us towards $1 and above. So realistically, Myro could do over a 15x. I don't think Myro has that much room left, to be honest. I think Myro at the max probably has a 20x left available there. Maybe it squeezes up a little bit higher. But I think the max would probably be like a 15 to 20x in my opinion. And that would take Myro to about a little bit over $2, man. And this is the reason why you got to look at percentages and numbers, because you understand that these are not unrealistic numbers. If you were to say, oh, Myro is going to hit $2, looking at the price, it seems impossible, right? It seems impossible. When you go ahead and look at the chart, you go ahead and use a chart, and you base it off percentages and numbers, realistically, let's say even a 20x will take Myro to $4 to $5, which is very possible. $10 is going to be stretching it, but I think 20x is very doable. So if you had freaking, as I mentioned, if you had, let's just say like 50 grand to throw, and you were to throw it in Myro, which is a safe alternative in my opinion, at a 20x, that is, what is that? Is that $1 million, bro? I think that's about $1 million. There's too many zeros, and I'm dyslexic. I can't even freaking speak, bro. So, yeah, I think that's about $1 million if I made my math correctly. That's like a guaranteed win right there, man. Guaranteed. So, like, Myro will for sure hit over $1. These are like the safer plays, right? This is the reason why I don't think Solana is going to have that many runners. They already have a lot of runners, man. They have over 5 to 10 meme tokens that have done very, very well. Over 100 million plus market cap, right? Anyways, I hope all of you enjoyed this video today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on Monday. If not tomorrow, but more than likely, unless the markets go crazy tomorrow, we'll upload tomorrow. If not, I'll see all of you Monday.